welcome to Political Arena. I'm your host, Onie Shukra. Across Nigeria today, young people are increasingly stepping into spaces where important conversations about leadership, governance, and national development are taking place. While age has often been seen as a barrier, a new generation is proving that ideas, passion, and commitment can be just as important as experience. Joining us today is Ibrahim Zanna Sonoma, a young advocate, a speaker, a youth leader whose work is focused on peace building, inclusion, and civic engagement, and youth development. Ibrahim, welcome to Political Arena, and thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thank you for having me, Shukra.
You've been quite remarkable, at just 17. So what would you say shaped your experience and has shaped you and has put you in the path of advocacy and leadership?
As I've equally used to voice out that I'm a child of circumstances, being brought and brought up amidst the sorrowful saga of insurgency in northeastern Nigeria has really shaped the person I am becoming. You know, we grew up, survival was the first lesson we learned, not literacy. So growing up amidst our peers, our schools being burned down, our roads to school are no longer safe, we're in constant fear, I think it raised a lot of thoughts in my head that where are the people supposed to stop what is happening to us? Why is no one doing anything? It was such thoughts coupled with the horrific experiences I had that gave birth to the modern day Ibrahim, which was actually a young boy who intentionally delved into the art of public speaking with his sole aim that I become an amplifier for the voices of my peers silenced by conflict. I could remember my father, he once told me in some years gone by, he said that, Ibrahim, anything done for you without you is not truly for you. And looking at how today, you know, we have leaders sitting in high offices miles away from our homes and schools, they claim to understand what we go through when they don't hear it directly from us. So I think those experiences are the ones that motivate me to become the person I am today.
You seem very interested. You did mention that you grew up in a conflict-affected area. That must have been one of your reasons why you're interested in governance, leadership, and advocacy. However, can you take us through that and delve deeper?
I think, as you have mentioned, I think my first-hand experiences are part of what made me to be involved in governance. But now, I think growing up a little bit with all the advocacy experiences I've had, I've come to realize that politics and governance plays a very key role when it comes to influencing decisions. I have been a public speaker, I've been an advocate, and we have raised our voices in different platforms, in international platforms, and we have truly seen how powerful they are. But what today we advocate for is that we move from not just our voices, but for young people to be part of these decision-making spaces. You see that we're able to express ourselves, but we don't have real influence. It has now become a culture of tokenism, I would say. So I think looking at how these things, our voices are not being accountable for, and looking at how our voices are not in positions of power to really change things on ground for our people, I think I was very much interested in politics and governance to see that, okay, I'm in a position where I can directly say this and it's this.
How have your experiences shaped your trust and expectation of leadership in Nigeria?
I think looking at a lot of things happening in Nigeria, I think today we are no longer what we are. What is happening today is not part of the stories our grandmothers would use to tell us about, our country. So looking at the current situation we have today, I think the way for you to trust the leadership of our country, it's very difficult. Because take a look at the unfathomable crisis going on everywhere around our country. Growing up, we haven't really felt what it's like to be, a part of a good leadership in our country. So I think these experiences really undermine how we see leadership in Nigeria. But I think despite all this, we still have hope. And where there is a will, there is always a way.
Ibrahim, Nigeria will be great again, and we will tell our children good stories about Nigeria, hopefully. Okay, as someone who advocates for peace and inclusion, what do you think young people can do to contribute positively to the country?
I think one of the best tools as young people, since we are not invited to the room, is to actually take up the spaces ourselves. I think our voice is a very powerful tool for young people. You know, when you don't speak up, it's like we have become accustomed and we have become very quiet on issues that are directly affecting us. And you can see the power of young people all around our country today. You would see youths coming out to speak, and you see how well the communities engage with them. So as young people, our number one weapon is our voice. But then we also need to develop ourselves so that we'll be able to sit in conversations where decisions are being made about us. Because there's this popular African proverb that says, when a child washes his hands, he can eat with the elders. And I believe we need to equally also prepare ourselves, prepare our leadership skills, our skills on how will be able to contribute to decisions happening in our own society. But I think my number one message would be for us to speak up.
We should speak up and we should be actively involved in the civic engagements going on around us. Nigeria has recently experienced a series of kidnappings across all parts of its country, affecting especially the educational system. And you know, as the saying goes, a country without education is bound to collapse. Personally, how do you feel about all of this? How does this affect you?
Well, education is the only tool for the child of a peasant farmer to become the most celebrated icon of tomorrow. According to Nelson Mandela, he said education is the passport to the future, and for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. But as you have directly mentioned, today, our schools are not safe. Insecurity ravages our children. Our roads to school are no longer safe. Our children are being abducted from their schools. So now tell me, how are we preparing for education tomorrow? So looking at the insecurity, especially when it comes to the aspect of education, I think it is something that we need to prioritize, not just as citizens of this country, but as the leadership of this country. We need to invest more in security. Security, especially when it comes to the aspect of education. If you look at brilliant people today, even I myself, one of the things that keeps me going and one of the things that keeps me passionate about education is I know, if not because of the background I had in education today, I will not be here in a position where I can represent my peers and feel fulfilled afterwards. So I think what I really think needs to be done is that we need to invest more on the matters of security. And it's not just about our leadership, it's not just about our government, it's about our people in our communities. According to Johann Wolfgang, he says, let everyone sweep in front of his own door and the world will be clean again. So we all have responsibilities to play. In our communities, in our families, in our homes, let's try to make sure that our children are safe, our communities are safe.
As someone who grew up in a conflicted area, what messages do you have to children who are currently going through such, who can go to school because of conflicts, who can worry about education but rather have to worry about if they are going to see tomorrow, if their parents are going to be there, if they are going to still see their peers tomorrow? What message can you pass to them?
My message to children and young people in conflict-affected areas, one thing I would say to them that I'm currently certain is that no matter how long the night is, darkness must give way to the light of the dawn.
Amen.
Now, stormy the weather might well be, it won't rain forever. Any type of madness will come to an end.
Hopefully.
And I believe that